What's going on, everybody? This is Brian from SneakerFiles.com, recapping the news. And before I jump into things, like always, greatly appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. I want to apologize, I'm still congested, so it might sound a little bit different. But before I run down the highlights, one more thing. After this video, make sure to check out the 2026 Air Jordan Release Dates Ultimate Guide video. There will be a link in the description below. Now, for this video, as for the highlights, I can confirm that the Air Jordan 4 Bred will return during holiday 2026. Yes, you heard that right. As well, I can also confirm now that the Air Jordan 6 Oreo will return in fall 2026. Now, in this video, there's a lot more from Jordan Brand, but there's also a strong lineup from Nike, including some new fall 2026 releases. And aside from Nike, we have one thing from Converse. And now, let's jump into the news. SGA has a new colorway of his first signature shoe, the Converse Shai 001 dropping, and this pair is known as Winter Red. So they're dropping for Christmas, and typically with the Shai 001, the pair is covered in one shade, but for this pair, yes, it's mostly red, but we do have green detailing. Now, images of this pair and the details have been going around for some time, but I haven't done a news video in a minute. I've been dropping other videos, as you guys know, so this is my chance to talk about them now. And this pair I really like. I do like the simple color blocking on them, and then the addition of green. I really like that shade of green, so that's probably why I like them. And the fact that, yes, they do look like the Answer 4. I know multiple people have said that, and I agree. But for those that want to grab this pair, they do drop on December 11th. The retail price will be $130, so these look to be somewhat limited. I've seen them posted on the Sneakers app. They're also on Converse, but they're also going to drop at Foot Locker and DSG. Moving on to Nike, and we do have a bit to cover, but the first sneaker I'm going to talk about is the Nike Book 2 Spiridon. Now, sometime back, you guys might remember, I did post a mock-up of the Book 2, specifically this colorway, and technically this isn't our first look. There was an image that leaked. I did post it on Twitter, and I had planned on talking about them in the next video, but the individual who took them messaged me and asked if I can take the image down. Apparently, it got out a bit too early. He accidentally posted it, but you know how the internet is. Once you post something, it goes around. But he did reach out. Shout out to him. DG Hoops. He asked me to take it down, so I did. And since Devin Booker laced this pair up, we can officially talk about them. But the pair features a metallic silver, sport red, black and white colorway, and the overall blocking, as well as some of the materials used, is a tribute to the OG Air Zoom Spiridon. So as you can see, the pair features silver mesh on the upper, and then we have red on the swoosh and other branding throughout. Now the swoosh does have like a shiny metallic finish to it, just like the Spiridon. Now this pair is also expected to feature 3M reflective accents just above the mudguard that wraps the shoe, and I do believe on the toe and heel as well. Now the pair also features a mini swoosh white on the midsole and a black rubber outsole. So for this pair, we do have an expected release date, which is February 6th, and the retail price will be $145. For this pair, I talked about them some time back, and we had the return of the Nike Air Diamond Turf 2 Fire Red. Now, most of you already knew that this pair was returning, but what's different about me talking about them now is we have a potential release date. Now, as most of you know, this is an OG colorway that first dropped in 1994 and, of course, worn by Deion Sanders. He wore this pair while playing for the 49ers. Now, this pair is known as Fire Red, although I always thought this pair should have been nicknamed 49ers because the other pair, which is actually called 49ers, yes, it does have the blocking, but this pair reminds me more of the team colors. Now, as for the release date, which is the most important part, they are currently expected to drop on February 7th, so that will be a Saturday, and then the next day, which is Sunday, will be the Super Bowl. I will say the timing of this release does make a lot of sense. And just a heads up, the pair shown is the 2012 release. So with the 2026 pair, they will have an updated shape and overall look closer to the OG. So currently expected to drop on February 7th, and the retail price will be $170. So this pair actually leaked about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was working on the 2026 Air Jordan release dates video, so I knew I wasn't going to do a news video, but I needed to get it out. So I just did an article. I posted it on Instagram, Twitter, and so forth. But in fall 2026, we had the release of the Nike Air Foamposite Pro Glow in the Dark. Now, this pair I have seen, so what is shown, although is a mock-up, it will look like this. So the official colorway is clean and simple, and it's Summit White and Black. Now, when I saw the pair, the shoes that they referenced, that they used inspiration from, is the Zoom Rookie, specifically the white and black pair. So if you remember that pair, I'll throw up an image. It appears that this is inspired by the Zoom Rookie. Now for this pair, it'll feature a white Foamposite shell on the upper, black nubuck on the eye stays, carbon fiber shank plate, the heel, the liner, and the rubber outsole. Now we do have some additional white, which does land on the branding, but the standout feature of this shoe is that the Foamposite shell will actually glow in the dark. Now before I leaked this, I was described the shoes that they were basically a Pearl Foamposite Pro, but an all black outsole and a glow in the dark upper. So shortly after that, I did receive a photo, and yeah, you can expect this to release in fall 2026. So that means sometime between July and September, and the retail price will be $250. The other day, the Lakers played the Phoenix Suns, and during that game, LeBron James would lace up the Nike LeBron 23 Stewie. And when I saw it, I instantly knew, man, I should have leaked these a week ago because I had this colorway and all the info. Another pair that I did see. But I will say, with everybody posting about them, most people said that it was going to stay a PE. Actually, everybody said it was going to stay a PE pretty much, or this is just a look at a PE. There's no release info. So shortly after that, I knew I had to get to work and get the information out. So in fall 2026, the Nike LeBron 23 Stewie will be released. Now, what I saw is exactly like the pair shown. Unfortunately, I didn't receive the official colorway, but I did receive the style code. Now, this pair obviously takes inspiration from Stewie from Family Guy, but prior to this, back in 2009, there was a Nike LeBron 6 PE known as Stewie, never released to the public, only made for LeBron James, probably friends and family pairs as well. But for many LeBron fans, that shoe is considered a grail, and I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate if that shoe actually retroed. But unfortunately, at this time, I haven't heard about a retro release coming. I will say that they do have more LeBron 23 releases that are inspired by older pairs or older themes that overall I'm pretty impressed with. So over the next week or two, I will be leaking those out. But overall, the blocking on this pair, I think they did pretty nice. That shade of blue, I absolutely love. Now, typically with these type of shoes, I would say I'm going to wait until they go on sale. But honestly, I don't see that happening with this shoe. And the reason for that is I was told that they're going to be limited. So this isn't going to be your standard release where you can pretty much get them anywhere. So I was told that they will drop on sneakers, neighborhood retailers, and it says select neighborhood retailers, so not every neighborhood retailer will get them, and then very select Foot Locker locations. So Foot Locker online may do a drop, but if they do, it will be somewhat limited. Overall, the pair is limited, but I don't expect them to have many pairs online. And the retail price is expected to be $210. The Nike LeBron 10 Elite Low will make a return, but in Protro form, and this pair will be added to the Halo series. So the Halo series celebrates Kobe Bryant's birthday, and in 2026, he would have turned 48. Now, the Halo series started back in 2023 with the release of the Kobe 8. Then in 2024, we saw the Kobe 9 Elite High and the Kobe 9 Elite Low drop. And then the last pair we saw drop was in 2025, a couple months back, and that was the Kobe 3 Protro. Now, what you're looking at is a mock-up. Unfortunately, for this pair, I was not able to see them. But what I was told is it'll feature pretty much all white. There could be some black detailing. I know on a couple of past releases there was minimal black accents. So just put together this mock-up to show what it could look like. But other than that, I don't have a retail price, unfortunately. But they're expected to drop on August 23rd. Typically that is when Halo pairs debut. Kobe Bryant has another Dodgers pair dropping, and in 2026, it'll be the Nike Kobe 5 Protro. So this appears to be a new series. I thought potentially it could be a one-of, because earlier in the year, we saw a Dodgers Kobe 6 Protro debut. That was the first colorway. So it appears that this may be a yearly tradition, which I'm all for. I think they're really dope releases. Now, this pair is a bit special, and I'll get to that in a moment. But what you're looking at is a mock-up. However, I was told that the pair would look like this. There may be some small changes here and there because unfortunately, I wasn't able to see them. But the pair will feature Dodger colors, mainly blue throughout. Now, there will be red stitching, which resembles baseball seams, and that will be on the lateral side towards the heel as well as on the tongue. Now, the Kobe Shield logo on the tongue will also be in red. His signature on the heel will be dipped in red, and then the white swoosh is outlined in red. The pair will also feature a white rubber outsole. So what I think is really cool about this release is the insoles. The insoles feature a picture of Kobe Bryant. It would actually be Kobe Bryant at a Dodgers game wearing a jersey, and it said that this is the last game he attended before his passing. Again, there might be minor changes here or there, like the placement of the insoles might be slightly different. But yeah, I was told that the upper is pretty much on point, and then the insoles would feature an image of Kobe Bryant at the Dodgers game. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a specific release date, but this pair will drop fall 2026, meaning they'll be available sometime between July and September, and the retail price will be $200. Now, I know a lot of people are excited about the Nike Air Bakin OG in Varsity Red returning in 2026, and that's still happening, but I do have some bad news for you. You may have seen this going around. I did post it on Twitter and on the website, but they have been delayed. So initially, this pair was supposed to drop in spring 2026. Meaning they're going to be available sometime between January and March. However, they've been delayed until fall 2026, so that means they're going to drop sometime between July and September. However, I was told that the overall look will resemble the OG pair. Now, the only thing I can't confirm is the branding on the heel. As most of you know, the original pair featured Air on the heel. However, it resembled Allah in Arabic, and then there was a lot of backlash from the Islamic community back in 1997-98. These originally dropped in 97, and then Nike would recall the shoes. I do believe that they dropped different pairs with Nike Air on the heel, but there's already a ton of pairs out. I was actually fortunate enough to pick up an OG pair over the summer. It does feature the Air on the heel, which is an element that I always liked about this shoe. Anyways, we would see a retro release take place in 2007, and then the last time they dropped was in 2014. Now, this pair is associated with Tim Hardaway, but Mitch Richmond also wore the model, and Kevin Garnett actually starred in a Nike commercial to promote the shoes. So just wanted to give you an update. They are returning. It will be fall 2026. Also, I initially heard that they were going to be limited. Only neighborhood retailers will get them. Now, that might have changed, but for now, that's the last I heard. So again, someone on the limited side, I don't agree with that. They should make them a bit more available. Sure, probably not a massive GR because then they would sit and that's not really a smart business move, but enough to feed the people who really want them. I definitely am planning on picking up a pair, and I know a lot of people will also, but I will have more information soon. All right, so another pair that I'm sure a lot of people are happy is returning is the Nike Air Diamond Turf 2 49ers. So earlier in the video, I talked about the Fire Red pair, specifically the release date, but I can also confirm that the OG 49ers pair will also return in 2026. Now, this pair is also considered the home colorway, and of course, Deion Sanders wore this shoe while playing for the 49ers. Now, this pair will feature a black, white, metallic gold, and varsity red colorway. So what I was told is they are expected to look like the OG. Now, the OG pair actually had his baseball number on part of the midsole. I'll throw in an image so you can check it out. And his number was the number 24. Now, although I was told that the shape would look like the OG, I don't know for sure if the 21 will actually be on the midsole or not. I tried looking for other OG pairs on the internet, and there aren't any. Some are labeled OG, but they're not. They're an older retro. And the only image that I could find was from the original catalog. The last time we saw this pair retro was in 2012. And honestly, I think this is my favorite model from Deion. I've always liked this shoe. They remind me of mini tanks. Super sturdy. Although the OG pair looked a bit more sleek, which you'll notice in the image. But yeah, I'm definitely sure a lot of people are excited for this pair returning. Now, like the theme of a lot of sneakers in this video, unfortunately, I don't have a specific release date, but they will drop fall 2026, meaning sometime between July and September, and the retail price will be $170. Jordan Brand is bringing us back to the early 2000s, and in fall 2026, we had the return of the OG Jordan Facebox, as well as Jordan Retro cards. Man, Jordan Retro cards were definitely an era. I know I still own a ton, and for quite some time, people have been asking why Jordan Brand doesn't bring them back, and I've always wondered why, because a lot of people like them. Yes, it's just an extra piece of paper in the box, but I always thought it was cool. A lot of people collected them. I'm definitely more excited about the retro cards than the box. The box is dope, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the cards is what a lot of people want. Now, I really hope that these retro cards don't affect the retail price. They shouldn't, but then again, who knows? Now, what I was told is not every pair will have retro cards, select ones, but one of the first will be the Air Jordan 8 Chrome. So we can expect the rollout to take place in fall 2026. Now, that could change. We could be getting some other retros with this style of box, as well as the retro cards, but that's what I was recently told. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about the box returning as well as the retro cards. I'm definitely happy for both, but more happy to hear about the retro cards because I always liked them. I thought it was super dope. You know, these Air Jordan 40 hybrid shoes, I'm just going to call them hybrids instead of mashups because essentially that's what they are. I'm really liking them. I think the overall look was done very nicely, but dropping this month, we had the Air Jordan 40 16 in Midnight Navy. So this pair is inspired by the OG Air Jordan 16 Midnight Navy that dropped back in 2001. Now, I did talk about this pair in the December 2025 release dates video. However, at that time, I didn't have the release date. I heard that they were going to drop in late December, but for this video, I do have the release date. So this pair is currently scheduled to drop on December 26th, and the retail price will be $205. So the pair, although it does look very close to the 16, obviously there's some differences like the midsole, even the shroud is a bit different, but you can definitely tell what they were trying to achieve here. We even have a glossy overlay on the toe and the top of the tongue. The outsole resembles that of the OG 16 outsole, which is translucent, as well as the designs. But yeah, dropping December 26th, and the retail price is $205. Now, the other Air Jordan 40 hybrid that will drop in December is the Air Jordan 40 23 Stealth. So the inspiration for this pair comes from the Air Jordan 23 Stealth that initially dropped in 2008. So again, this was another shoe expected to drop in December, so I talked about them in the December release dates video. I said that it would be sometime in late December, and we do have a release date. So along with the Midnight Navy pair, this one will drop on December 26th. So unfortunately, the same day, it's going to get expensive if you want both. Personally, I like this pair over the Midnight Navy. The overall color blocking is really nice. The DNA inspired design on the panels, really dope. It's a good tribute to the 23. On the heel, we have a subtle fingerprint. The 23 was known about DNA and fingerprints and so forth. So overall, a great tribute shoe to the Jordan 23. You know, on a side note, I would love to see the 23 return. I know they have in the past, but like some OG colorways return. That was a model I did go heavy on. I did pick up pretty much every release. Well, not every release, but a good amount. I just felt that the quality, the overall look was just done very nice. But yeah, this pair will drop on December 26th. The retail price will be $205. Recently, we received new photos of the Air Jordan 4 Valentine's Day, also known as Sierra Red. Overall, I do think this is a clean shoe. It will be a women's release, and it features Pale Ivory, Sierra Red, and Tough Red. One thing I do like about the shoes, as you could see, the overlay that wraps the toe, it has raw edges, which are dyed in red. Now, tucked away on the inside of the tongue in the insoles, we do have lipstick kisses. And the shiny red that's used on part of the midsole, that is inspired by nail polish. The pair will feature a Jumpman on the heel, dipped in red, covered in mostly Pale Ivory. And overall, it's just a clean shoe. I have seen some people liking them, but they will be a GR, a lot of pairs available. And they're scheduled to drop on February 7th, and the retail price will be $220. A couple weeks ago, we received a first look at the Air Jordan 1 High OG All-Star. Now, initially, this pair was known as Cool Gray, and the mock-up that was put out was pretty accurate to what will be released. There's a few small changes. When I received this information, it wasn't labeled All-Star, it was labeled Cool Gray. Probably Jordan Brand's way of hiding what the shoe actually was. But the pair features Cool Gray, Black, Cell, Game Royal in white. Now overall, like I mentioned, it is on point to the mock-up. It features hairy gray suede on the overlays, cell on the base and the midsole, metallic gold on the wings logo, and a translucent rubber outsole. Now, it does feature a blue tongue label with unique font on it, which reads Nike Air. On the inside of the tongue, on the label, we have a star logo, which represents All-Star. But the biggest change about this shoe is the perforations on the toe box. Instead of them being small circles, they are now stars. Now, if this pair looks a little bit off to you, that's because this is a grade school pair. These will also drop in adult sizing, and they're scheduled to be released on February 13th, and the retail price will be $185. There already appears to be a pretty strong lineup of All-Star weekend releases. For example, we have the Bin 6, we have the Reverse Infrared 6, we have this pair. I know I'm forgetting other ones. I've even heard that there's an All-Star Foamposite which hasn't leaked yet. I don't know if that pair got scrapped, but yeah, I did hear that there's an All-Star Foamposite. I just haven't seen them. I haven't received official details, so that's why I haven't actually leaked the shoes. But let me know your thoughts on this pair down in the comment section below. You know, I really like Chase B's music, but he was recently on an interview with Complex, and he was just capping on there, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But one thing that did come out good from that interview is we now have a release date for the Chase B Travis Scott Jordan Jumpman Jack. So recently there was a small release on December 1st at Space Village in Houston. I don't know how many pairs dropped. I'm sure not a ton, but the bigger release date is for December 19th. Now, Chase B did say this on the Complex interview. However, he didn't mention how they were going to be released, if it's from his website, if it's on sneakers, boutiques. That part I can't confirm. So we do have a bit of time before December 19th comes. So I'm definitely sure that there will be more information, and I'll have you covered in an upcoming news video. Now, the part I say is capping because it's not to do with the release date, but he mentioned that he wants to do another collaboration with Jordan Brand, and there's some people in the room connected to Jordan Brand and help him out. Basically, something along those lines. It's not verbatim or anything like that, but what I will say is that he is expected to already drop another collaboration from what I've heard. This collaboration has been in the works for, 8 months, because that's about the time I heard it. Is it 100% confirmed? No. But the fact that he has been working on one and talking about one is funny because he's acting like it's not going on behind the scenes. Now, I'm not going to say the model, but I'm going to say this, that people aren't going to be happy if it winds up being this model. And if you piece things together from previous videos, which will be a bit difficult, you'll be able to find out which pair I'm talking about. Now, the only reason why I'm not officially saying the model and everything like that is because it's not confirmed. I did hear that he is working on it, but until I get the go-ahead, I see either a picture, a style code, and colorway, that's when I'll officially announce it. But that man is definitely working with Jordan Brand. He does not need any connects at Complex. I mean, his right-hand man is Travis himself, if he wanted to. So obviously that was for show. But I will say congrats to him on this collab because it is dope. I'm not even a huge fan of the Jordan Jumpman Jack, but I really like the color blocking on them. Sure, some of the mock-ups that went out early on, when I initially leaked this information, looked better than what's coming out, but I do like them. Either way, expect this to be a limited drop. They're not going to be available just anywhere. And for now, we're looking at December 19th, and the retail price will be $205. This is easily our best look yet at the Air Jordan 4 Flith Club. Now, I do have mixed feelings about the shoes. Somebody left a comment that they resemble the military black Air Jordan 4, and I kind of see it now. I don't own that shoe, but yeah, they do look kind of close. Now, there are differences. For example, this pair does have Nike Air on them, which is outlined in red, and there's, of course, more differences. But the pair will feature a cell, black, and university red colorway. One element that I'm not sure how it ties into the Flith Club theme because, as some of you may know, this pair is inspired by the Flith Club membership program that Michael Jordan had in Nike in the late 80s and the early 90s. But if you look at the overlay that wraps the toe, you're going to notice additional stitching. It almost reminds me of a past Shishiko release, also known as Shishiko stitching. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I do apologize. Also, the insoles, which you can kind of see in one of the images, It will be repeated images of different Air Jordans and of Michael Jordan. And then on the tongue, we have the Flith Club logo. Initially, I was thinking about passing because they were going to drop in February. However, the release date has moved up. I did mention this in the 2026 Air Jordan release dates video, but the new release date is January 17th. Now, it looks like January is going to be a bit of a slow month. Traditionally, it is. Yes, we are expecting the Dorenbecker 17 and the entire Dorenbecker collection, but I don't foresee too many great drops. Yes, there's the Wolf Gray 5s, the Flint Gray Air Jordan 9, also known as Fringe Blue. Those are two great releases. Maybe that 9, at least for me, would take over the number 1 spot. And the retail on this pair will be $220. Recently, some new images popped up of the Virgil Abloh Archive Air Jordan 1 High OG Alaska, and these photos showcase how they look on feet. Now, aside from the new images, there's really not any new information. Basically, the information I'm going to provide is stuff that I've talked about in previous videos, but more recently, what I heard is that these are going to be limited. Now, does that surprise anybody? No, it sure doesn't surprise me. A little bit of a letdown. Typically, Virgil Abloh or in past Off-White releases have been limited, but I do think with this type of release, they shouldn't make them a mass GR. I mean, everybody probably would like that, but as far as a business decision, still keep them somewhat limited, but not as limited as what I'm hearing. No, I don't know numbers, but this is a shoe that I believe at the minimum should drop at boutiques as well as the Sneakers app, but more than likely it won't. The Sneakers app more than likely, but not boutiques. Now, what's different on this pair compared to the previous drop, because for those who don't know, this pair actually released in 2017, but was a Euro exclusive, is the medial side. So instead of Off-White branding on the medial side, it has Virgil Abloh Archive. Another thing I've said in the past, I believe that Nike and Off-White could not come to some sort of agreement because obviously they need to license the name. And because they couldn't come to an agreement, why not go to the estate of the man himself? Personally, I would rather take these over the Off-White pair from 2017 just because I feel like this is a tribute shoe. As most of you know, he has passed away. And I feel like even the shape on these look better than the 2017. But as for a release date, unfortunately, we don't have one, but they are expected to drop spring 2026, meaning sometime between January and March. And the retail price is $195. Now, sometime back, I heard a rumor that they were going to drop during All-Star Weekend. I don't know if that's still true, but that's a possible release time frame. But once I have confirmation, I'll make sure to let you guys know. Alright, so we have a release date for the Air Jordan 4 Tour Yellow. Now, as you know, this is not an OG colorway. However, it first dropped in 2006, part of Jordan Brand's Lifestyle Series. The Lifestyle Series from Jordan Brand, when the shoes would drop, there would be matching apparel, and somewhat on the limited side. Now, over the years, a lot of people have been asking about this pair returning, and a couple months back, I did confirm that the pair would get a retro. But the good news is we have a release date. So all I knew prior to this that they were going to drop fall 2026, meaning sometime between July and September. But the release date, at least for now, is August 29th. So at least we have something to look forward to, an actual date. And the retail price will be $220. Now, the good news about this pair is the shape will be updated closer to the OG mold. They'll also feature the removable tongue patches. For now, they're expected to feature a Jumpman. I haven't heard anything about Nike Air, but as you guys know, it's possible they could switch things up. But for now, expect it to have a Jumpman. Let me know your thoughts about this pair returning. For me, even though I own the OG, I can't wear those. Those will definitely crumble. I do plan on grabbing this pair. Alright, so this news might be a little bit late on my part, and I do apologize for that. However, I didn't want to just run with it like most people do. I want to confirm things from my sources, and I can now officially confirm that the Air Jordan 6 Oreo will return in fall 2026. Now, this is an older retro, and they were first dropped in 2010. So 16 years later, the pair will return. Now, they're known as Oreo for the simple white and black color blocking. You know, I'll be honest, I never was a huge fan of this pair. I think it's decent, but it's not something like I needed to run out and grab. I do think I own them, but I know I got them on discount. I got them on sale. But it did seem that a lot of people were happy to hear that this pair would return next year. Obviously, another pair to help celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 6. Quite a few Air Jordan 6 releases are dropping next year, more than the 5s did this year, at least in my opinion. Now, what we can expect from this upcoming release, the overall blocking and everything will look the same. It's just that the shape will be updated. I will say I do like the splatter detailing on the spoiler, the midsole, and the lace lock. I think that looks pretty clean. And unfortunately, I can see people calling these the Air Jordan 6 Pandas or something along those lines. You know, I will admit that the Panda nickname has died down a bit. And gosh, I'm so happy for that because not every pair needs to be called that. I'm sure after saying this, people are going to troll me in the comments, which is totally fine. It doesn't bother me. When you guys do it, it doesn't bother me. But when I see people legitimately calling sneakers Pandas because it's black and white or white and black that have no ties to me, I just randomly see it on Instagram. I shake my head. But yes, this pair will be returning. And like I mentioned, they're going to drop fall 2026, meaning sometime between July and September. And the retail price is expected to be $215. This is like clockwork to me. Every year after I drop my annual Air Jordan release dates video, I get more information that's really big news, and I confirm it that should have went in that video, but unfortunately it came a bit late, so it's not. But as for exclusive news for this video, I can confirm that the Air Jordan 4 Bred will return in holiday 2026. Now, in my opinion, what I'm hearing for holiday 2026 is going to be a really, really strong season from Jordan Brand. Now, I can't confirm everything at the moment, but one of the pairs I can confirm is the return of the Air Jordan 4 Bred. Now, just to run down some history for you guys, as you know, this is an OG colorway, first dropped in 1989. Now, the first time they retroed was in 1999. Both of those pairs, of course, had Nike Air. Now, we did see another retro take place in 2008, but it was part of the Countdown Pack series. So you couldn't just buy the Bred Air Jordan 4, you also had to buy the Air Jordan 19. I believe the retail price was $310 for both. And those two pairs equal the number 23, which helped celebrate the Air Jordan 23. That pair also featured the Jumpman instead of Nike Air. Now, in 2012, we saw another retro, this time by itself. It featured the Jumpman on the Hill. Now, the last time this pair released, at least in OG form, and when I say OG form, I use that with quotations because it still lacks certain elements to make them close to OG, but that was in 2019. That pair did feature Nike Air branding. Now, in 2024, we did see a reimagined pair drop, which I actually liked. Instead of nubuck on the upper, it featured leather. That pair also had Nike Air. So, technically, it would be 7 years since we last saw this pair drop, which seems like a long time ago when you say it because it feels like it wasn't that long ago when these dropped. Maybe it's because the reimagined pair. Also, I did pick up the 2019 pair, I think in 2023 or 24, I did a trade. So obviously if I picked them up in 2019, it would seem that I've had them for quite a bit longer. Not only that, the reimagined pair probably throws things off. So what will be different about this pair? Well, I'll tell you, it won't be a reimagined pair. What I was told is, and this is exactly what I was told, is that it'll have SB shape, meaning it'll have the OG mold. So to date, this will be the closest we get to the OG. If you include the reimagined pair, this will be the 7th time that this shoe's dropped, but I will say that it's a classic. I'm not going to lie, I've really tried to buy every pair that drops. From the list, I'm only missing 2, and that would be the 89 and 99 pairs. So this will definitely be a shoe that I pick up and expect over the next week, maybe 2 weeks, for me to drop more holiday 2026 stuff. I'm waiting to drop a really big bombshell on everybody. I just need to wait for one more confirmation, and I don't know, that might go out early next week. But for this pair, I don't have a specific release date, but since it's part of Jordan Brand's Holiday 2026 collection, it means that a release will take place between October and December. Also, the retail price should be $220. Let me know your thoughts about this pair returning. For me, I'm definitely happy with them. It's a classic shoe. And every time they release, I eventually get them, maybe not on release date, but eventually I do track them down. And that's going to do it for this video. Like always, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. If you have a second and haven't done so already, also appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. One more thing, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted every time I drop a new video. Now, this week for sneaker news videos, I think this is going to be it. I'm prepping for another video next week. Also, if you haven't yet, check out the 2026 Air Jordan release dates ultimate guide video. Although, as you can see, time is moving on. Some of the stuff in the video won't be covered, but there's a lot of great information still in there. Now, I do plan on dropping a short this week. It'll probably be on Friday, maybe one Saturday too. I'm not entirely sure yet. But for this video, let me know what you liked or disliked down below. As well, if you have any questions, make sure to leave those down below. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.